So Satan wants us to love everything. See, God didn't say love everything. He said love God. You can't love everything. I cannot love my wife and love adultery at the same freaking time. I can't do it. You can't do that. You can't love your children and at the same time sell your children into prostitution. Does that make sense? That kind of makes sense, right? Huh? Right? I mean, come on, that makes sense. Right? If you love your children, you don't sell them into prostitution. You don't human traffic them, right? Okay, that makes sense, right? I'm not crazy. That makes sense. Satan wants us to love everything. If we love God, we have to love what he wants. Yes. Not what the world wants, not what Satan, well, not what everything, what feels good. No, we have to love what he wants. We have to love his covenant, the Constitution outlines it. Freedom, responsibility for the children, for the people. Decentralized power. Right? Balance is a power, even more so than the U.S. Constitution. States' rights, private property, the right of the citizens' sovereignty. This is what God promised to his people. He said, I will give unto you a land of milk and honey. I will give unto you a land, a place where your enemies will falter. I will give it. You know, God was constantly promising the Israelites people, his people, sovereignty. We have to love God. God and in extension, his presence on earth, Jesus. You see, when we have one God, which we have to love, we have a focus. We can't just love everything and fall into the emotionalism that makes us feel good. We have to actually shape our lives to that one standard of goodness. We can't make our own standard of goodness and call it good. It's not good. It's stupid. The standard of goodness, it comes from the goodness, the actual good, what philosophy calls the greatest good, which is God. And what does God do? What is the greatest good? What is the greatest God, who is the greatest good, give to humanity? He gives us freedom and responsibility. That we know he is not an evil God. He gave us freedom, for Christ's sake. He gave us freedom. He didn't make us slaves. He didn't make us into AI. He didn't make us into robots. He gave us dang freedom. Dang damn it. You understand? That is amazing. He gave us freedom and responsibility. I'm like right on the edge of being politically incorrect with my language. We have to love Jesus' commandments. The commandment, he says, he who loves me loves my commandments. That's in what's that, 2 John? 1 John or 2 John? Because we know if we love God, we know his commandments are best for us. Right? When he says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, might, strength, soul. Love the neighbor as yourself. Think about it. We always think of love your neighbor as yourself like just take out his garbage or mow his lawn. Why don't we think about loving our neighbor as being his protector, being a peace police and peace military person? If something were to happen to him, I would run to his defense. If a fire were to break out, I would be the fireman. If an enemy came, I would be the policeman. Why don't we ever think in terms of that? Because we're in a fallen kingdom. We're never taught to think about that is the true way you love your neighbor. Even though he's maybe totally different from you, even though you may disagree with him, you're still the policeman in the kingdom to protect his life. Does that make sense? You're not only called to just protect Christians. In the Chinese Constitution, there's freedom of religion too, even though a Christian worldview, I believe, in the free market will win. It will win. But you are called to help that neighbor, even if that person is a Muslim or a lesbian or whatever. You disagree with them, you can still have a conversation with them, but you would go to protect them. You would love your neighbor. You would be their keeper. You would stand up for their rights. Even though you hate that they say, you would still stand up for them. See, that's the difference. That's the difference between a truly godly person, a true liberal, and a current liberal, which is a communist. Right? That's a huge, huge difference. And in the kingdom, when we are our brother's keepers, we are truly loving them. Think about it. What more can you do for that person? You're serving, you're protecting them. You're willing to give your life for that person, even though you disagree with that idiot. He may be the person that drives you nuts, your neighbor. You hate that fool. But when the Shemitah hits a fan, somebody's hurting him, you go out to defend him. That's a real man and a woman, right? That is what we're taught by Jesus. He did it. He went on the cross for people he hates, persecuted, killing him, crucifying him. He did it. He did it. So that's why when we love God and we love Jesus, we become those kind of incredible people. We don't become part of a cult. We don't become part of a religion. We become part of a relationship which transforms us by love, transforms us to be better. Defenders, protectors of people, freedom, liberty, responsibility. People who love God with their mind, their thoughts, their soul, their strength, who love and protect their neighbor. This is real, folks. See, this is real. What Jesus was talking has huge implications for actual societal sociology. Love the gospel of the kingdom that Jesus preached. So many churches straying from the gospel, not preaching the kingdom. Love the kingdom of God on earth, where the gifts of God, freedom, responsibility are the core. Help others understand those gifts of freedom, responsibility. If we love God, we must hate that which harms God. We must hate that which destroys that which God has given, which is freedom, responsibility. We must hate the oligarchs and the tyrants who stand up to take away human liberty, human freedom, human responsibility. Because by doing that, they destroy human flourishing. They don't increase it. They don't help it. They don't encourage it. They don't allow it to come to its full fruition. Right? We must hate that which robs God's children of their inheritance, of their divine rights. We must hate institutions that try to steal our inheritance from God. To steal our property, to steal our work, to steal our labor, to steal the gifts God has given to us, the talents, steal whatever God has given. We must hate those. We must hate the very nature of that institution, because that nature is archangelic.